Hey everybody, good morning. Keith Pitch here. It's now 10 a.m. Thursday morning. I'm here with my co-host, Chevalier.
Hey everybody, Stacey Chevalier, Loan Depot, Washington State. Happy to be here on this Thursday morning. And let's first talk about last week. So last week we had Renee Rodriguez on, and we had 176 views. So again, we want to thank you for all your support. And we will be donating $176 to our local food banks.
Absolutely. So this week, before we jump into our show, which is renovation lending and how you can take advantage of those fixer-uppers, or if you're looking to expand onto your house or do some upgrades, we definitely have an amazing product for you lined up here for today. So bringing that education. But first of all, we got to go check out what the rates are doing, and the rates are just kind of just hanging out right now. So this is FHA. Okay, this was Freddie Mac's mortgage rate survey for this past week, and Stacey, I expect this number to come down over the last few days of trading. So this number always lags a week, right?
Yeah, especially the news coming out today with the market.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah, Dow being down, I think it was 1,300 points at my last glance, and mortgage-backed securities in the last 2 days are way up. So investors are taking their money out of the stock market, parking it back over in mortgage-backed securities, and making mortgages more desirable, which makes rates better. So super excited to see where this number is. Here's my forecast. I think that number is going to come down to 3.15.
By next Thursday?
By next Thursday. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'm just going to stick to my October prediction.
Your October. Well, no, your October prediction was it's going to be below 3%.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just 3.15.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit. So anyway, one other interesting topic that came out of the Mortgage Bankers Association this week, amazingly, year over year, home purchase applications are up 13%. Up 13%.
Is that, and I'm sorry, is that national or is that a local?
Nationally,
okay.
that number, there's more applications for purchase money loans this year, so far year to date, than year over year last year. It's amazing to me. With all we've been dealing with COVID-19, the social unrest that we got going on right now, people are still looking to invest in it, and it's just a very interesting time in the real estate world because there's no inventory. So
yeah, and builders are getting a big lift right now too with their home sales as well, since there is no inventory. People are reaching out to new construction.
Yeah, so they're selling those way down the line, and I think that makes this conversation that we're going to have today even that much more important, because there's a whole world of purchase money loans that we can go out there and do with renovation lending. So without any further ado, I want to bring Milton Manolis.
Yay!
He's just sitting down at his desk there. So Milton, welcome to the show.
Hi guys. Hello everybody.
Hey Milt. Yeah. So Milt has been a good friend of yours. How long have you been with Loan Depot, Milt?
Oh, about 5 years now. Yeah.
Okay. And he runs national renovation. We're lucky enough to have Milt come out to the Pacific Northwest a couple of times a year, normally to see his face, but so this time you get to see him here on social.
Yes, and thank you for having me. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, well, so to kind of bring that back full circle here, Milton, there's not a lot of inventory out there. There's some ugly houses out there that are either sitting on the market for a real long time, or they're just not going to market because people don't think that there's a way to sell the house. So renovation lending, tell us really what does that entail?
Guys, it's a great question. There's a lot of misinformation out there about renovation loans and what you can do. And a lot of people think there's a lot of restrictions, right? That you're limited to what you can do. Maybe just do some minor repairs, things of that nature. And it's just not true. The beautiful thing about these loans, and the reason they've become so important in the last 10 years really, is because during the financial crisis, we we had a spike in people utilizing these loans because so many homes were damaged, right? There were so many homes that went into foreclosure, that became REOs, and were sitting out there for a long time and needed repair and updates. And people were utilizing these loans, and they really kicked in and became very popular. But what we're seeing now is even a higher spike. In other words, to your point earlier, as homes inventory drops and it becomes more of a seller's market, they're less willing to make repairs to these homes. They're not as willing to update them and prep them for a sale. They want top dollar, but they really don't want to do that work. And so these loans allow you to purchase a home and include any and all repairs you want to do. Very simple. It could be minimum property standards, health and safety, or you can customize it, modernize it. There are very few limitations to what you can do with these loans. And so now they're just as popular as they were back then. So
that's awesome. But the renovation loan is a purchase. I want to make it really clear. It's a purchase loan as well as a refinance option.
Correct? Yes, you can do both. You can buy the home and add the additional money for the repairs or upgrades, or you can refinance. And we've seen a large number of refinances where people want to take advantage, refinance, but the house needs to do some work, right? The roof, new windows, siding, tuck pointing, all kinds of things. You can put on an addition. So yeah, it works for both purchases and refinancing.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. There's been a lot of change in the Seattle metropolitan area with regard to zoning. So I'm gonna throw you a very niche-y question, but there's this huge push now in the greater Seattle area to add a detached dwelling unit, right? So like a mother-in-law that's not in the house, but it's like a detached row house like that on a back alley or something. Would a renovation need to do that?
Absolutely. So guys, different parts of the country, they call them different things, right? The industry term is accessory dwelling unit, but you could call them an in-law, carriage house, coach house, different things like that, right? So I think when I was up there last, they called them a she shed. Does that sound right? Did I say that right?
We also call them ADUs, but yeah. She shed too.
Yeah, and I had no clue what that was, but so yeah, you can absolutely do a renovation loan, and you can build an accessory dwelling unit like a coach house or an in-law house, right? And you could put it anywhere on the property, and basically, they understand that the housing inventory is tight. There's not a lot of supply out there, and they wanted to make this product or make this variance available to people, whether you're buying or refinancing, and allow you to build one. Now, there's a couple of caveats to it. It can't have its own meter. It's got to feed off the main meter of the home.
Right.
It's got to be, can't be larger than the main home, right? But it's a great program, man. It's a solid product.
What about what are the policies around people doing their own work on renovation?
So we allow, they call that self-help, and we allow self-help. It just needs to make sense, right? So what you need to be careful of is that we do not allow people to make money off their own loan. So we're not going to pay you labor for doing the work, right? But we still have to finance the labor in case you can't finish it. We need to hire somebody to finish it. And you have to be experienced. So if you're in the trades, makes sense. We're going to need some additional supervision. You're not really in the trades. If you've never gotten involved in that, like myself, right? I can't fix anything. So I'm certainly not going to start trying now. Then we're going to ask you to hire a contractor.
Gotcha. When you say you're in the trade, so somebody that's working at Microsoft or Amazon or something couldn't be the carpenter, plumber, or something like that in this situation.
Yeah. No, if if you're working for Amazon, you're in IT, or even, it's going to be a hard stop. That's going to be a hard pass. Right. But let's say if you're a union carpenter, you're an electrician, a plumber, that's what you do. Well, then that makes sense, right? I mean, it makes sense. Well, again, there's no such thing as sweat equity. So a lot of customers are going to be like, well, I could do it for cheaper if I do it myself. This is true. But if you hurt yourself, then what do we do, right? So we still have to finance enough money to make sure the job gets done, but we'll let you do it under additional supervision. We're one of the few organizations that'll let that happen, because we really just kind of customized it, and it's really based on each person's situation.
I was just going to say, this is different. There's different policies depending on where you're getting your financing. But Correct. So we're discussing how we do it. How else? I know we have a different type of support team behind the scenes. Can you kind of go into how that works here at Loan Depot?
Yeah, so great one. We have a team in Scottsdale, the Reno operations team. And what they do is they work with the customer and the contractor from beginning all the way through. We don't use a title company to process draws or anything like that. So what'll happen is our Reno operations team, as soon as the file is originated, they'll be assigned to the client will be assigned to a Reno specialist who'll be working with the customer, the contractor, the HUD consultant if we're using one, and they're going to work with them all the way to closing. They'll gather up the documents, do the background check, and validate the insurance and licensing and whatnot. And then after closing, same team handles the file. And now you're going to be working with a draw coordinator. And the draw coordinator is the person you reach out to, who'll be reaching out to you, sending emails, and you'll be communicating with, when you want to get paid, when the contractor wants to get paid, when they want to order a final inspection or any interim inspection, things like that. And we've got customers that we've been working with for 6-9 months on projects. And so that's what the draw coordinator does. All of it. Everything is done internally, which makes it much more efficient. We don't rely on outside companies. Great.
Well, that's good. And so there's talking about draws and stuff. I like to kind of differentiate between the two phases, right? So there's the origination phase, which a client's going to go through pretty similar to a regular mortgage application, right?
Yeah, that's correct. A renovation loan is just like any other. Just there's an added component for the collateral, being the house or the property.
Right. And then that second phase is when they're doing the construction and they need to disperse funds out to their contractors and subs and all that good stuff, which it's very unique in our situation that you're dealing with the same team on both sides of the coin, because a lot of companies push you off to a closing department that may not be privy to what's going on the front end of that loan. And then on the back end, they're trying to piece it all together. So it's really awesome to have that continuity through the whole life of that cycle.
It is. A lot of companies outsource the draw portion. After the closing, they don't really care about their customer. It's done. They let a third-party company handle all the check requests and whatnot. We just don't do that. It's just, it's just way too important. The customer experience is way too important to us. To your point also, guys, at the closing, it doesn't take any longer to close. I mean, the loan disperses just like any other loan, right? And the qualifying and so forth is the same. We're just adding extra money for them to do the work they need to do.
Yep.
This is a big, the company really wraps their arm around this product and supports it. How many units do we do a year? Are we in the top 5 for being able to originate renovation? Where do we land in all of that?
Well, I can tell you that Loan Depot is the #1 renovation lender in the country. HUD publishes stats every month, and they put the stats on their website. And so, yes, Loan Depot's #1 year-to-date fiscal and calendar. We were #1 last year as well. And
you built it all, Milt. It's all thanks to you.
It's actually thanks to you guys. But I appreciate that. But no. But so yes. But we're continuing to grow, right? Because the product is really, it's important. As far as how many units we do, we probably this year we'll probably touch in at around 1,000 or so, maybe about 1,100. Obviously the COVID-19 slowed things down. Purchases obviously have continued to go, but we had quite a few refis that we were working on that have slowed down, and we had to make some adjustments because if the building departments are closed, we can't get permits issued, right? If we can't get permits issued, then it's hard to start jobs. So there was a ripple effect that we were able to work ourselves through. So
yeah, we were one of the few states that actually closed construction for some time.
Yeah. So I want to flash this comment up.
The spider.
I want to add a mother-in-law. I didn't realize the spider was there, Ben. What about investors? Can you add these things for like investment purposes to rent out maybe that ADU?
Okay, hold on. No, I don't. I saw the no, I don't want to add a mother-in-law. Oh. That's great. I hear you. In Chicago, when they do, let me just address that. In Chicago, when they do, mother-in-law or in-laws, it's usually because the garages are in the back, detached, facing the alley. And
right.
A lot of times they'll build an in-law like a loft space on top of the garage, and that'll be the accessory dwelling unit, and that's where the in-laws will go, right on top of the alley. So pretty funny. But I'm sorry, go ahead with your question.
So can these be pivoted to like investors or built out for rental purposes?
Yeah. So we offer a conventional renovation loan. It's a 30-year fixed, 20% down. But remember, it's 20% of the total, right? So 20% of the purchase price and renovation. So you're going to take the purchase price, you're going to add the renovation amount, and then your down payment is 20% of that. And it's a 30-year fixed loan. There's no prepayment penalty. It's not a hard money loan. Those hard money lenders are pretty much done. It is, 30-year fixed. You could pay it off. You could refinance. You could sell it. There's no restrictions whatsoever. We're actually seeing a lot of customers hold them for cash flow now. The market continues to appreciate. But it's a great product, man. And if what you do is more of a fix and flip kind of thing, you can absolutely do that, and you can have up to 10 financed properties.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's powerful. That's a good pivot, filling that void of the lender that's no longer no longer operating at the same level. There's a lot of retraction in that market. So
well, let me just add to that. I have a lot of investors that are customers, right? That are borrowers. And I when I travel, I speak to realtors, I speak to investors, and I tell them, listen, the days of finding a home that you could put in 15 or 20 grand and flip are over, right? Because your competition now is a homeowner who's willing to overbid the property. So there's really no money for you to be made. Your margins are super tight. And if somebody's going to if someone's going to outbid you or they're going to overbid on the property, you're done. So I taught them to really stop looking at those homes that just need some freshening up and some paint and some, sanding of the hardwood floors and such. I explained to them, you guys have to now go find that ugly house, the one that needs $50,000, $100,000, the one that needs a major addition put onto it, that's sitting on a nice lot, okay, but that needs a lot of work. Because those are the properties now that homeowners who are not aware of renovation loans are driving right past them. So that's where these investors now are going to be able to make their money in a significant amount of money.
Yeah, and when you're able to come out and do your full presentations, I think where we do get a lot of impact is when you explain the houses that are non-financeable, you can actually finance with a renovation loan.
Correct.
So homes that are half burnt down. I mean, you've shown some amazing photos of before and afters. So keep that in mind if you're out there watching, that the non-finance is definitely a possibility.
That's a great pivot, Stacy. Milton was able to send over his presentation here. So, why don't you walk us through a couple of these before and after pictures that we've done? We talked that it's a purchase order refinance option. all the work is that's required or optional is completed after you close the loan.
Correct.
But I mean, tell us about some of these deals that we've already funded for folks.
Yeah. So right here's a perfect example. This kitchen and home did not need anything, right? The home was, the kitchen's fine. It's pretty. It's functional, but it wasn't their dream kitchen. They wanted a dream kitchen. They knew exactly what they wanted. They had it in their head, which I think sort of comes from these TV shows, Chip and Joanna and the Property Brothers and whatnot, kind of messing our customers up. But I digress. This is the before, and we were able to finance the purchase and give them the extra money they needed. And now you'll see the after. And,
wow.
But that was their dream kitchen. And again, they didn't need to do it, but they wanted to do it. And so we were able to finance all those improvements that you see there. We actually financed the appliances as well.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So what about this one?
Okay. So I remember this one. Yes. So that's the living room. And we financed the purchase and all the repairs that they needed. I don't recall what I don't recall if the seller left the stuffed animals behind, but
they just have happy kids.
And just right, exactly. So let's go to the after of the living room. That's
Whoa.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, they did a good job.
You opened up the wall.
Yeah,
they let that brick is awesome. That's cool.
They redid everything, really, guys. I mean, they did a wonderful job. And so now with these, as you look at these and you look at these before and afters, you really get an idea of what you can do. And that's why we teach people to focus on where they want to live. Okay. Stop trying to find the perfect house.
That's a great point.
Get into the perfect neighborhood, the perfect school district, the perfect subdivision, and then we'll make it the perfect home. So there's the kitchen, same house, same property. That's the kitchen before, and that's the after. Woo. Everything was financed into the loan, all of it.
Wow.
Yeah, they did a really good job.
I think that's a really great point, just to reiterate that one, Milton. So many people are, with the lack of inventory out there, the 2 or 3 properties in your neighborhood that you really want to get into come up, and they just get fought over. There's a big boxing match over these. I had a client who made an offer on a house here in Bellevue, and there were 13 other offers on that house, right? And so our pivot was maybe let's go do some door knocking on the houses that are ugly and see if somebody wants to sell it, and we renovate it for you.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
awesome.
People are stuck into looking, I need 4 bedrooms. Well, maybe you can't find it, right? Here's
Right.
an example of a bathroom. This property was not financeable at all under any circumstances. It was cash only, right? So I just wanted to show you guys some different levels, different extremes. And so we were able to finance it, give them all the money they need, and they redid the bathroom. They also did the basement, but it was the bathroom that was pretty profound. Speaking
Whoa.
Yeah. So a lot of people think there's limitations, and there's really not. We financed this purchase some time ago, gave them all the money they needed, and they rebuilt the home. Before you go to the after, let me just say a few things. So,
Okay.
You can tear down and build a brand new house. The only trick is it has to incorporate the existing footprint, right? You can build a larger home. In this case, they built a slightly larger home. The property, the lot was narrow, so they built it off the back. But you can build a larger home, but you have to use the footprint that's there, the foundation. So that's the before. We finance the purchase and the rebuild of the whole home. If you click, you'll see the after. Right?
Wow.
So a lot of people think, I didn't know you can do that. Exactly. There's very few things you cannot do with a renovation loan. And these are not construction loans, guys. These are 30-year fixed, fully amortized, purchase money or refinance renovation loans. I mean, they're a beautiful thing.
Wow.
We do have one question of someone asking why a consumer may opt for a renovation loan over a home equity line of credit to do work on their home.
To do well on a refinance, we're speaking, correct? Obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So on a home equity line of credit, you're completely exposed. Normally, it's going to be tough for you to get the amount of equity that you need, amount of money that you need. But here's the most important thing. That's a great question. I want to make sure everybody understands this. When you do a home equity line of credit, they're going to appraise your property based on the as-is value. They don't care what you're doing with the money. You could tell them I'm doing home improvement. You could tell them I'm going to Las Vegas. Doesn't matter. When they do an appraisal, they're going to appraise your home as is. What is it currently valued? When you do a renovation loan, it's completely different. Refinance or purchase, the appraiser is going to give us a future value. The appraiser is going to look at the work that we're doing. So essentially, we're giving the appraiser the contractor's bid, and we're asking the appraiser to tell us what it's going to be worth. And then your loan to value, your loan amount is based on the future value. So rarely will, if ever, does a renovation loan not give you more money, right? I mean, almost always you'll be able to do all the repairs that you need because it's based on the future value. So let me give a scenario. Let's say you own $200,000 on the house, okay? And you want to do $30,000 in work. The appraiser looks at what we're doing and comes back and gives us a value of $250. Well, now we can go to $250. You see what I mean? Where you can't do that on a HELOC. A HELOC gives us as is value. Right. You know what I mean? Oh, it's you owe 200. Well, it's worth 220. Here's 10 grand because we need up to 95 or whatnot.
Right.
That's the big difference, and that's a great question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. One other thing that I want to talk about. We touched a little bit about Fannie Mae and FHA, but VA also has a reno option. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's a great product. It is. They put a hold on it, a temporary hold, as we work our way through COVID-19 for the safety of the veterans and for the VA appraisers. So the product still exists, but they've instructed appraisers to not accept any orders until we start flattening that curve, which looks to be happening. So I would expect something from the VA in the next 60 days. That said, it's an amazing loan product, amazing renovation loan. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, we just closed one on our team right before all this ended. So the nice thing about the VA when it comes back is you can go over those conforming limits.
Yeah, you can go to $2 million.
Yeah.
Wow. So awesome.
Yeah, no money. I mean, it's 100 LTV with no mortgage insurance. It's a wonderful product.
Yeah. So when we get that back, we'll have you back on, Milt. We'll talk all about VA reno.
Yeah, I'd love to.
So in closing, because we're up almost to our 30 minutes here. In closing, tell our listeners, both our consumers out there and our realtor partners, like where can we find these deals?
As far as the property goes.
Yeah, where's the best place to look for them? Probably not the multiple listing service.
Well, listen, depending on where you're whether you're an agent or a customer, right? So the recommendations would be different. I'll just cover it with a broader stroke, and I would tell you that we've gone after expired listings, homes that did not sell because of the condition that they were in. Maybe they were just, they were priced a little high because of that condition, that variable. We've also had great success identifying REOs, HUD or VA foreclosures that require work. There's quite a few of those out there. And I think what you're going to start to see here, guys, in the near future, something that we hadn't seen in a while, is people who were having a spec home built or home builders that are imploding, even though it's growing. Don't get me wrong, it's growing, right? But there are a lot of people that this virus really put them in a tough spot, and there's a lot of people out there who were having custom homes built that came to a screeching halt. And I always, whenever I'm driving, I'm always mindful You pass a house, it looks like it's being built. And then, over the course of a few weeks, I was paying attention that, there's really nothing going on at this house. I mean, they're about 3/4 of the way done, or halfway done, and I don't see any, right? So there's a lot of different things going on there, guys. But just, the other thing I would like to bring up is that, after the financial crisis, right, back in 2008, 9, 10, right, that was a financial crisis. We're in an economic crisis. Totally different. The financial crisis was top down, economic crisis bottom up. And so what we had seen back then is cash was king, right? People started to preserve cash and stopped putting money into their homes, their existing homes, right? And that went on for a prolonged period of time, where now you're in a situation where the roofs are leaking and the siding is falling and the windows are breaking. They can't defer that maintenance anymore. That's why you're seeing stores like Home Depot post record numbers, right? Because we're at the point where people are now, they have no choice. Purchase or refi, money's got to go into these homes. And the average age across the country is so old. I think it was like, north of 50 years old is the average age, right?
Wow.
So the opportunities are everywhere, right? One more thing I'd like to point out, if I have a moment.
Sure.
We're seeing a growing trend called age accessible, right? And what we're talking about here is there going to be a growing segment. You're going to see this in the next 2 to 3 years, where seniors don't want to move. They've been in the house. They love the house. They don't want to move, but they need that master bedroom and bathroom on the first floor. They don't want to go working up those stairs, and nobody wants to be using those elevator lifts, right?
Stairs, yeah.
Right. So be mindful of that for both our agents or any originators and even customers, right? That's going to be a growing trend. So thank you.
Thank you, Milton. I really appreciate your time joining us here today. We're always here for questions to find you an answer and point you in the right direction. So your expertise and guidance in renovation lending has been awesome for Loan Depot, both here in the Puget Sound as well as throughout the nation. So appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you guys. Go ahead.
Thanks, Mel. We miss you. Don't go anywhere. Just go to the backstage, but we can drink our
Essentia.
We can cheers to our Essentia. Yeah.
I look forward to coming up there and seeing you guys. I miss you guys. You guys are great. Everybody's there. So thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.
Our pleasure. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Mel.
Right on. Well, there you have it. Renovation lending. Ugly house in the neighborhood you want to be in, and let's make it shiny. So
yeah, and someone's asking if it's recorded, but it's definitely recorded, so you can rewatch this if you want. Yeah.
Yep. On our Facebook page there at Loan Depot Puget Sound, Keith Pitch mortgage team, as well as on YouTube. So feel free to type in the hashtag real estate now, and you will find us. So hey, we're well past our half an hour. Stacey, any closing comments?
No, just so great. Mel is just a pro at renovation. So always good information and just an expert to share all his advice. So
yep, you guys through it. So perfect. Well, join us next Thursday at 10 a.m. And in the meantime, share this video with folks that are looking to buy. Maybe they've been bid out of a couple transactions now, and we can point them in a new direction and find the house that they can turn into their home. And we'll see you next Thursday at 10 a.m. Have a great week.
Take care.